Hello and welcome to episode 24 of Live Cardboard. It's January 29th, 2025, and I have to say things are decently warm out here in Calgary. While I watch friends back east suffer through a giant snow dump, we're above zero for the past few days, and well, that's above 32 for the metrically challenged. Anyway, it's supposed to stay that way for the next 10 days. With all this melting snow, you can make a mint selling washer fluid. Anyway, all that to say, very nice, very nice weather, feeling good. Tonight, I'm going to try something new. I'm going to take a look at all the war games released in a given year and try highlighting the best of them, or at least those that have had an impact or some staying power. Hey, welcome Skyrider, welcome Stacking Limits. Good to see you both. Thanks for coming. This is just going to be a selection of them that I chose. Not the entire list. I think there's like 160 or 170 that were released that year, or at least that show up on BGG for that year. So anyway, that's what we're going to give a go to. We'll see how it works. Hey, John, good to see you. Okay, well, before we get to that, let's just go straight to the news and get through that, because I think I actually got a fair chunk of news tonight. We'll see. The first thing we're going to do is take a look at the Legion newsletter, because I highlighted a couple of their games last week, and I got a comment on the video from Randy Lean saying, "Here's all the things we have going on." And just before that, I'd received this newsletter from them, so I thought, well, I might as well pass it along. He was good enough to comment on the video, and I'm happy to talk about what they got going on. This first part of the newsletter just talks about the fact that they moved from, I don't know where, but they moved. I don't know how they're feeling about it now. They found a rural property in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, so that's a tricky place to be right now. Anyway, that put their schedule off, it says, a little bit, but they're back on track and things are going. They also make a note on this first page that Legion now has a Discord channel, a Discord server. So check that out. Just search for it. It's open to everybody. I'm already there, so I'll see you there. Then they have a list of all their latest stuff, but I'm going to just skip down because they have a nicer look at it here. They first give a look at the stuff that's the latest CPO release stuff. I think this has actually already been out for a while. The Miracle at Dunkirk, I think that's been out, and same with this Werewolf. So I think I'll just skip over those. But what's coming up? These are the two that I mentioned. The 10 2 weeks ago, last time. The 1066 Year of Destiny, and I might have mentioned this. These kind of go together, right? They're two different designers, but they're both kind of 1066. I think the one on the left there is a bigger, more grand strategic look at 1066. You've got William coming over from across the channel, and then you got the two heralds, one in the north, one in the south. So a 3-player game, I think, really. And then that one on the right, Dragon Ships and Iron Knights, I think that's more of a tactical game. So yeah, it says, that's right. It says 2-player tactical games, Battle of Hastings, Battle of Stamford Bridge, and Battle of Gate Fulford. So there you go. Those are all on CPO right now. And this is interesting. I think this is new for them. So at least for as long as I've been buying Legion games, they're going, oh, hey, Randy, I'm glad to see you here. You can correct me when I get any of this wrong, but as far as I know, this is Legion's first foray into Ziploc games, which I think is totally fantastic. I've saved money buying Ziploc games from Revolution, for example, and I feel like I saved money both on the game and on the shipping. So, yeah, there we go. Perfect. So the 3 months is like the bat of an eye. That's fantastic. So we have fall of Berlin, World War II. We know what that's going to be about. And then there's a Doodlebugs game, which is a solitaire game, which is going to be about the V1 attacks on London. So Randy may pipe here and say, I'm guessing you're maybe playing the British side, trying to shoot them down before they hit London, but that's a totally under game topic for sure. But then we have some more stuff. We've talked about this before. This is the one, Hannibal's Revenge. This is the one that GMT dropped off their P500 and Legion snapped up right away. Good to know. So you play the British and you try to shoot down the Doodlebugs. Yeah, that makes sense. This is Mark McLaughlin and Fred Schachter. So and what I didn't know, developer Kim Kanger. People who've been listening to my podcast for a long time know that I'm a giant Kim Kanger fan. And in fact, the very first episode I did of the podcast, I featured his Nemesis Burma game. That's how much I like Kim Kanger and Legion. Well, here, Randy. Here's somebody who's definitely a fan of the Legion games. Dave, 17 games on CPO. That's amazing. Anyway, this Hannibal's Revenge. I'm hoping that it has a better life here at Legion than for what who knows the reasons that GMT dropped it. Maybe it just wasn't getting traction. Who knows? Anyway, it's here at Legion now, and you can register an early. You can register the CPO for that. Then here's the stuff that I don't think we've talked about at all. This is stuff that's it's in production. It says so down the pipeline a little ways. We have volume 11 of the Vive l'Empereur series. This is Wagram. Well, there you go. So I hope those 500 all come your way, Randy, and that you manage to get way more than the 350. And then drive on, I'm going to say this one, Voronezh. Yeah, there we go. The East Front game here, I think is a John Thiessen game. And I've got a bunch of his games. He's published a few through Hollenspiel, and his games are real. He's a great designer, so this should be interesting. It says this one is a Ziploc bag as well. So there we go. So both of these are in production in the U.S. So that I would guess that means the turnaround time is a lot quicker than the slow boat from China. So there's those two. And then a nice listing here of other things that are, it says completed design development and most of the artwork, and just need a little artwork or formatting to be ready to enter production. So these are already tested and ready to go. Here's a question for Randy. Will Hannibal have a mounted board? We'll let you field that one. There we go. Mounted board it is. So now, Jonathan, now you're going to have it because you love mounted boards, right? I think when I had Terry Simo on, I think we talked about this Zeppelin's game, and we had a look at the pre-production art and stuff for it. Had a kind of a look at the game board, and we also definitely took a look at the Berlin Airlift, because I think he's the developer. Terry's the developer on both of those. Well, there we go. Yeah, Terry Simo is great. Between him and JD Webster, it's like I feel like I now have met two of the best guys on air games in the business. But I don't know anything about this Libertadores del Sur. So I'll have to look that up on the Legion website. But that's I'm totally excited about the Berlin airlift game. That really looked sharp to me as well. I think we saw. I don't know if it was prototype art. We might have had a look at the finished art in that when Terry was on. And here we have some stuff that completed the design and entering the artwork phase. Oh, there's going to be a couple. There's going to be another one here that I'm really excited about. So we have Rolling Thunder. Oh, that's kind of cool. Nicholas Escubi is going to do the art on that. He's fantastic. That's great. And here's the one I'm totally excited about. Knights over Stalingrad. Dan Manette. This is another one that Terry Simo did the development for. He roped me into playing it once or twice during the play test, and I'm not like I've always said, I'm not much of a solitaire player, but it was really fun. And there's a ton of different ways you can play. It's not just always the one side. Even when you're playing one side, you can choose from like 4 different air bases, and that changes sort of what your missions or what you're going to do. But there's at least three different nationalities you can play as in the game. So yeah, I say jump on the CPO for this one if you haven't heard it already. Well, there we go. Somebody looking for Rolling Thunder. It does feel like it's a good time for that game. It feels like Downtown, which came out, I don't know, 20 years ago, and was such a big game about sort of operational air war in Vietnam. It seems it was like the last great game on that topic. So here's hoping Rolling Thunder can be the next great game on the same topic. Yeah, so I'm glad you came by, Randy. This was wonderful to get this and be able to talk about all these things that we didn't get to talk about a couple of weeks ago. So these are still being worked on by the designers or developers. There we go. So get the CPOs in for Knights over Stalingrad, because I played it, like he says, ready to go. It's great. Well, here's somebody who might have the CPO for it. Okay, on the horizon, Wellington in India, by Jack Polanka, who's a longtime associate and friend of Richard Berg, to finish this long-awaited game. Well, so this is one of these games that Richard Berg had in progress when he passed away, I'm guessing. And so somebody stepped in to finish it. That's fantastic. And it looks like it's a quad, basically. Yeah, it looks like we have four games there. So, yeah, 4 battles there. So that's totally interesting. The next one, Waning Crescent, Shattered Across the Siege of Malta. And this is Andy Lokes, but another Terry Simo developer project. Terry's working overtime. Oh, I'm betting Randy's talking about Wellington in India on this one. I'm interested to see how this turns out. Mark Herman just finished a Richard Berg game, and over at GMT as well, John Butterfield finished off a Chad Jensen game where, it's sad to lose these people, but I'm really grateful that people are picking up the reins and finishing up the work that was left undone. There you go. Skyrider was looking for a Vietnam game, so there's another one. There's another vote for you. Okay, so Waning Crescent, Shattered Cross, and then we have Air Raid Pearl Harbor. This is this is yet another Terry Simo, and I guess he's gonna develop this. So yeah, look at there's the list of all Terry stuff: Zeppelins, Berlin Airlift, Knights over Stalingrad, Waning Crescent, Shattered Cross, and this Pearl Harbor game. And then we have a forgotten sideshow. This is a solitaire game by Steve Dixon, and he's got a few. I don't. Bougainville. This is UMC Marine Air Support Operations Bougainville, 1944 solitaire game. So there you go. Couple more. Well, I don't know if I'll be able to pronounce that. Tachanka? Who knows? I don't. One of those letters looks kind of Cyrillic. I'm guessing it's an end. I don't know that battle, so I can't say anything about it. This is the designer is Adrian van Helsing, who I don't know, so we'll have to see about that. And then the other one here, it is Silent Dead series, Operation Mars, Volume 1, Belly. But this should be, it says Greg Blanchett is a veteran designer of World War I East Front war games. I'm sure that means that's a typo. That's World War II East Front war games for sure. And this is stuff that's just coming. All this stuff is stuff that's still totally still in the design phase. This stuff is, you can't count on it making it. We'll have to see. Sometimes a design goes a long ways, and then people decide that it's just not going to work out. So we'll have to see. Two more. Abyssal Lament, Decisive Battle from the 7 Years' War. Another one with artwork by Nils Johansson. Oh man. Legion, Escubi and Johansson, plus Kim Kanger does his own art, which is fantastic. They've got the top art guys going here, that's for sure. So we've got a 7 Years War game, and then Thunder Chief. So this is another Vietnam game. Yeah, another Vietnam game. So who was it? Skyrider. Skyrider was looking for Vietnam games. There seems to be a fair bit in the pipeline from Legion if you're a Vietnam Air War fan. There you go. No question about that. Then, yeah, I didn't mean to cast any shade. It's just sometimes you hear of designers who said I took it and I just couldn't make it work. And, I'd rather they gave up on it than gave us a game that just doesn't work. Yeah. Yeah, Terry is. And at the same time, he's got time to play Vassal PBEM with me. We just started a new game over the last couple of days. So Terry and I are playing from Salerno to Rome, a game from Sergio Schiavi, Dissimula, out of Italy. I don't think either one of us had played a Dissimula game before, so we're giving it a go. And here's where they let us know about the games that are going to be Ziploc only versions, and we see a couple titles on here that we haven't talked about. Like there's the Borodino game there, and the one next to it, The Last Invasion. Oh, That Last Invasion. That's the Fenian. That's I just met the designer of that game in Vancouver in November. I think that's Woloshin, Mark Woloshin, I think, unless I've got something completely wrong. Anyway, here's they're just letting us know that these are Ziploc games. Cut down the cost and also cut down the amount of space they take up in the warehouse, which is when you're I think from reading the top end of this newsletter, a lot of the storage happens right for Legion happens right on Randy's property. So I can understand his storage problem is more acute than mine, and mine is terrible. Yeah, Jonathan, I think you're not alone. I think there's totally interest in that series. Oh, there we go. So, so we sort of get to see a bit of the order of things here, which is worthwhile. Thunder Chief is down the road a little bit, but there was 2 or 3 other Vietnam games in front of it, so that's totally, we'll have plenty of Vietnam games to play with before then. Looking at these Ziploc games too, I see Northwest Rebellion. That looks like it's maybe another Mark Woloshyn title. I tried to, we didn't manage to hook up. I tried to organize an interview with him when I was in Vancouver, but I have his details. I'm going to still try and get to talk to him, because it feels like he's one of those fellows who I think maybe is retired now and is focusing more on game design in his retirement, and he's got a few things on the table. So yes, including those, the Northwest Rebellion and Last Invasion. I think those are both titles concerning Canada. So yes, I have a little bit of a provincial interest in them. And here's finally, well, not finally, I think there's a little bit more. This is it says no specific updates, but they're not on the scrap pile, just waiting their turn to be published. So we have Guam and Attu, so different ends of the planet, but same. That looks like they're part of the same system, maybe, just judging by the covers there. We've got a B-26 game, and then a game on Corregidor. I could go for another game on Corregidor. That's excellent. And then a little chunk here on the back burner. These are ones that are they're not dead, but they're not actively in the queue anymore. So we have the Russo-Japanese War, Prelude to War, that's Europe 35 to 39, it looks like, and Chivalry at Bay. So if you had interest in those, they're not happening at the moment. Well, there we go. So yeah, that Atu Kiska, yeah, those. Oh, that's one game, right? And Guam is the other one. Oh, well, there you go. Dave Poirier has got a big interest, and maybe even had a CPO on one of those games that's on the back burner. Yes, I know. I saw what you said there, Jonathan. You really enjoyed Woloshyn's Prairie of Flame. Yeah, I have that one too. I haven't played it yet, but that was what first grabbed my. That's when I first saw his name, was when I saw that game. Well, here's a question for Randy. Whatever happened to the Corregidor game? I backed it some 10 years ago and nothing happened. Well, I'm sure Randy will let us know, but for a lot of designers, it's not a full-time job, and things sometimes get in the way, for sure. You often hear of games that seem like they're chugging along, and then it feels like they're just abandoned for a while, only to resurrect 3 or 4 years later and come back onto a list and actually make it. And then, of course, some just die on the vine and never make it. I hope that's not the case of the Corregidor. Ah, there we go. I think oh, there we go. Yeah, definitely check out the Discord channel. Lots of good talk about Legion stuff there. No doubt about that. Okay, well, I think we're just about to the end of the. Yeah, there we go. So that's the end of their newsletter. That's everything we're up to date with Legion. If anybody has any more questions, jump in before we're done with that. But yeah, a couple of weeks ago when we did the topic was just what's coming, and I only knew two or three things from Legion. So, and it was then, well, we did that, and then a week later, this newsletter came out, and there was it was like, oh, they've got a ton of stuff in the pipeline. It was great to see. So, and thanks for the newsletter, Randy, and also thanks for for dropping by tonight. It was great to have updates on a lot of these projects. No problem. That's that's what I feel like I'm here to do is uh, get the word out about games, and I especially some of the big companies don't they have their own PR departments. I'm I'm talking about little companies out of Italy and Sweden and smaller U.S. companies. I think I'm always trying to get the word out about the smaller companies. So I'm glad there. If you have a link, Randy, to the Legion Discord server, I'll see if I don't know that I have. Yeah, I'm just a member. I don't have a way to give a link. Hey, Jerry, good to see you tonight. We just had a giant update on what's happening with Legion, and Randy Lean was here coincidentally, and gave us an update on stuff that wasn't in the newsletter. So that was great. Well, there you go. So it's on the Legion War Games main page, easy to get to, and there's no secret code or anything. Everybody's welcome there. Okay, well, let's get on with the rest of the news then. Where do we go? Let's try this. Oh no, get rid of that. All right. So, in other news, Log and Load has a special offer now, and it's only for a few more days, I think. 15% off everything. It's only to the end of the month, so yeah, 3 more days. But there's a code there, and I don't know if you can probably find that code on their website even. But if you can't, just scribble it down now and go and check out what they got. They are one company that I couldn't find anything new in their queue about new things. David Heath said that they do have some new things coming, but he did not reveal what they were. So I can't. I've got nothing to pass along in terms of that. There you go. Vlad's already got the Discord, so there we go. If Vlad can find it, you can find it too. There we go. Make myself a little bigger. If you haven't seen it on my podcast, the audio podcast from a couple episodes ago, I did an interview with Jose Neva of what was then called Neva War Games. But if you don't like podcasts and you still want to check out the interview, it's on YouTube as well. And the YouTube version actually has Jose there on the version. He had just had some kind of a surgery and an operation on his head, and they shaved his head very close cropped. He was a bit self-conscious about his hair, but I think he looked terrific. Anyway, they've also got some news. So they're no longer called Neva War Games. They're called Neva Game Press. I think that's just because they decided they've got, I think they've got some more family games that might be in their queue, or well, I mean, they're they've got a Columbus game that could appeal to families as well, and maybe they just decided that calling themselves war games was too restrictive for them. I don't know. In any case, they're now called Nevigame Press. They also said they had tried to do a P300 system, and they're retiring that system. They were trying to use it about a way to. Oh, there we go. Good. Check out Cardboard Commander's blog, and you can find out all about their errata and plays for Iwo Jima, which is one of their first two games. Anyway, they're not doing the P300 anymore. They're going to just go to one campaign a year with probably two games, and he's sort of, it's not that he got ahead of himself, but he had like a list of about 10 or 12 games that he was juggling, trying to think which one he was going to produce next. And he was going to use the P300 system as a way to gauge interest. And I imagine he probably sort of came to his senses and went, maybe I better just decide which game is more ready and which game I want to do, and not leave it in the hands of votes. I don't know. I don't know what his reasoning was, but anyway, no more P300, and not a rush to get things out. They've got a lot of things in the pipeline, but they're going to slow down and just make sure they get everything right. Their first two games have launched pretty well, as far as I can tell. Speaking of what Jerry, Cardboard Commander, here is saying about the errata, there is, you can download the errata off their website and stuff, but they are also putting out a free errata update kit for their Iwo Jima game. It's free except for shipping. If you order it from them, you just have to pay the shipping. But also, if you're gonna order one of their next games that are offered, you can just ask for it and they'll toss it into the box with those. I think it's probably maybe there's a new map or something. There's I'm not sure. If they're making an update kit, it makes me think that there's some updates to either map or cards or counters or something. It's more than just a rule book, or maybe it's a new play aid. That it could be that for sure as well. Who knows? Anyway, that's check out that interview. He was a great guy to talk to. Tons going on in Spain. There seems to be like a new. It seems like every 6 months you hear of a new war game publisher out of Spain. And then this is the first thing I have to talk about. GMT dropped their January update. I'll just hit a few highlights because we're already we're already a half an hour in. So the first thing is, if you don't know already, Candace Harris there, pictured with her video. She's I don't know if she's still with BGG. I think she's formerly of BGG. She's been hired by GMT to work in their marketing, and she's made this video on the art in Baltic empires, and that's another Nil Johansson art job, and it's like, I don't know, a 10-minute video or something like that. I totally recommend it. Hunt it down. You get to see Nil's art, which is really interesting, really evocative of the period. You can see behind the background she's got there is basically the map board, and it's in a style where woodcuts, where you carve the image on wood, ink the whatever's not cut away, and press. And you can do that with multiple colors. Anyway, he's tried to replicate that style in this game. But the other thing about the video is it gives you a little bit of a feeling for what the game's going to be like. And I know when we talked about this one a couple of weeks ago, a few people were really interested in it. So check out the video. That's what we'll say there. Last 100 yards. So this series, apparently they're having trouble keeping the base game in stock The Volume 1, Last 100 Yards, Volume 2, Airborne, they both were standalone games, had everything you needed to play in each one. But the Russian game and the Commonwealth game were more like expansions, and you needed maps or things from the previous games. So they're making a second edition of the Russian game, which is now going to be standalone. It'll have everything you need in it to play it. And the Commonwealth game is similarly going to be reworked and become a standalone thing, but there's going to be an update kit for those who want it. I have no idea why the Commonwealth game is getting an update kit and the Russian game isn't. I have both of them, but I have the earlier game, so I don't need the I can play them, I guess is what I'm saying. I don't need them to be standalone. Anyway, that's good to hear that, there's a few game series like that where there's all the expansions can be available and the core games are sometimes go out of print. I mean, that happens with Commands and Colors Ancients or Napoleonics from time to time. So this is a way to tackle that problem. I think it's a good idea. Third edition of Napoleonic Wars is coming, and it's not a reprint. It's actually a new edition. There's going to be some rules cleanup and a few tweaks to values and cards. So it sounds pretty much like it's the same game, but a bunch of tweaks for balance and according to the PR that they sent out to give you more strategic options. So maybe adding a little depth to the game. I don't know. This is a lot of people's favorite game. So it's interesting to see if everybody's going to feel like they need to buy the new version. Okay, finally, new on P500, there's a whole bunch of reprints, so I'm not going to go through those. But the new thing was this Checkpoint Charlie game, which is a solo game where you play a member of the British Secret Service, Secret Intelligence Service, doing espionage missions in Berlin in the 60s. So there you go. That's everything that's in the January update that caught my eye. Read the whole update if you're interested. There's easily 20 times as much information as that, but I don't want it to become the GMT update show. So there we go. Okay, a few more new games coming down the pike. Yeah, magazines. They're kickstarting the next edition of their magazine, edition 16. The Kickstarter starts February 3rd. It's going to include Urgent Fury, which is a squad battles. Well, they call it a starter kit. Interesting that they say starter kit, kind of using the ASL term there. But anyway, it's a way to get into their squad battle system. It's going to come with the maps, counters, and multiple scenarios. So it's not just a one or two scenarios to play this with what comes in the game. And then, of course, being the Nuts magazine or the Nuts house organ, there's going to be scenarios for other Nuts games and plus articles, all that kind of stuff. So if you're into it, their Kickstarter starts in 5 days. Look for it. Operational Studies Group has 2 new items on sale. Well, I say new, but they're not really. They're only new in that they're new versions of older games. Sorry. Flying Pig, not Nuts. Sorry, you're quite right. I'm a little drunk. That's all I could say. Quite right, Jonathan. Anyway, OSG's got the Last Success. This is a straight reprint of this game, 4 battles. It said same map, same counters, pretty much just a nice new version. But the other one, Coming Storm, it's more than it's the same battles and whatnot in this, but new maps, new counters, all new components from top to bottom. And this is a remake. I think he said in the newsletter, I think he said this is a remake of the very first game in the Library of Napoleonic Battles series. I think he said that. Anyway, if you these two games are on pre-order at a discount. The discounted price is like $98, so there's still a hefty price tag. But he's a tiny publisher as well. So, and the games are always lovely. They make good quality stuff there. Bellica 3G is another Spanish publisher reprinting Santa Cruz 1797. I don't know this game, haven't got it yet, but apparently it did well enough on its first go that they're reprinting it. And then VUCA has a lot on its site at the moment. So I'm going to tell you, I think six VUCA games here. We might have mentioned a couple of them, but we haven't mentioned all of them. So this is totally interesting. 30 Years of Misery, so a game on the 30 Years War. What caught my eye is the designer here is Brian Aslev. And he is the designer of what is it? Napoleon's Fateful March, the game on that has it's a block game, but the blocks are for orders, not for units. I totally love that game. It came out last year, so I like that game so much that I'll give a try to anything he does for a while and to see if it tickles me as much. The interesting thing also about this game is, me too, like me some 30 Years War as well. This is 2 to 4 players, so hopefully it plays well at 2, but interesting that he's made it a multiplayer game, or at least that possibility. And 30 Years of Misery is a pretty great title. Pacific Fleet, The Rise and Fall of the Japanese Empire, Hiroaki Sato. This has got 5 scenarios plus a campaign game, but this it really is from the Japanese perspective. I mean, it's not Japanese favorite or anything like that, but if you play the big scenario, the war starts with the war versus China. It doesn't start with Pearl Harbor like so many Pacific War games that come from the West do. This is going to start with the Japanese invasion of China. So totally should be totally interesting to see Japanese designers take on the Pacific War. I'm interested to see it. The Far Seas. This is it's a hunt for merchant raiders at the start of World War One. The map shows the whole world, and the objective is to sink German raiders or attack convoys and avoid the hunters, depending on which side you are. It's a 2-player game. So it says the German player plots his movement, then the British player moves, then the German player reveals and makes his moves. So a sort of it's not totally plotted movement, but it basically is plotted movement. One player writes his down, the other player does his, and then the player that wrote it down reveals it, which is no different than if they both written it down. So it's that's what they're doing there for hidden information. This game I think I've talked about a little bit way back. This is a strategic level Case White game, Invasion of Poland, 1939. But the designer here is Grzegorz Krylowicz. Butcher that name, of course, but that's sounds pretty Polish to me. And so I think we're going to see. I think what we're seeing here is invasion of much like the Japanese game in a way. We're seeing a designer from one of the countries directly involved, so that'll be interesting too. It says it has a campaign, but also has a series of smaller scenarios. So we'll see how that works out. This one is one I'm really excited about. This is a formation series, second game in that series. So this is going to be another. I think it might be another one where they have a few games in the box. Mirage I think was the first game in the formation series, where it had 4 North Africa desert games in the same box. Anyway, this is the battle for Caen and the advance on Falaise following D-Day. So the Allied players trying to break through the German defenses, capture Caen and Falaise, and the German players trying to stop them. So it's going to have, I'm sure it's going to have several scenarios as well as maybe a big game. So we'll see. Anyway, I love that system. I've played quite a few of those games using the same system. This is a different designer. This is Andrew Glenn. A lot of the other ones, oh gosh, Brennerman, I can't remember the designer of the other ones. But anyway, cool system. Totally looking into it, or looking forward to it. And then finally, this one we talked about a couple of months ago. This is Paul Hederer's Prelude to Blitzkrieg. It uses the same system as 1914, not Paris. He's well along in the design of this, and the last thing I heard about this game was that he was having trouble drumming up some play testing for it. He wanted to get more play testing done, and he needed more play testers. So if you've got any interest in doing some play testing, contact VUCA, and maybe they'll set you up with Paul Hederer. On my podcast, I don't think there's a video of this. Although there's all my podcasts are also on in audio only format here on YouTube as well. I interviewed Paul Hederer a year ago, 18 months ago. Totally interesting guy. Check out the interview if you're interested in that. That's it for VUCA. This is from, I said we were going to talk a little bit about Sweden. This is Three Crowns Games out of Sweden. This Colossus Stumble is coming up. I don't think he just made this post. I don't think this was even on the website, but he also announced a couple games that he had that were on their list as coming soon or something. Am I flickering around for you guys the way I am for me? I don't know. Anyway, these 2 games, Platinum Fox and Hold the Line, are delayed. Hey, Stuka Joe, good to see you. Thanks for dropping by. He said he's halted development on both Platinum Fox and Hold the Line due to the fact that, quote, neither are fun nor interesting to play. So we've halted their design and development for now. So there's a guy that's talking to it straight up. Oh, there you go. Well, that Traces of system is a great system too, but it's not the same one as the VUCA one. Okay, I am ahead. Dave says I'm max headrooming a bit. Maybe it's because I've got this background on behind me, and it's. I just was tired of looking at the blank wall because as you all know, I'm not in my office yet. I'm still in a temporary spot, but let's just see if this. I'll go back to that and see if maybe I don't do the max headroom thing, and it'll be a little easier on the eyes. Oh, there you go. Randy's going to post a Discord link, I think. Well, we'll see. Anyway, I thought that was kind of funny from Three Crown that he just up and said 2 of the games on their list were just too boring for him, and he's decided to put them in the pause pile. That's interesting you say that. You call it the Ortona cover. So what that is, that's a painting by Canadian war artist Charles Comfort. It is a painting of Ortona, and I think it's the art that GMT used for their Ortona solo game. But the image I was using, I'm still at max headrooming. The image that I had on behind me was just part of the painting, because I've been a big fan of Charles Comfort's artwork since I first discovered him, like 30 years ago. He's a really evocative and interesting war artist. This is, so there we go. Randy can't post the link, so we'll yeah, I don't know how I don't think there's a way to for me to do it. And if anybody can figure out a way to post the link, let us know, and we'll figure it out. Yes, definitely look at Charles Comfort. Really cool artist. And as you can see, his art is, it's like it's not strictly naturalism, realism. It's exaggerated. It's really kind of cool. Okay, finally, the only last thing, I like to sometimes talk about what games I've got since I last talked to you. Not many. I didn't make slides. The Neva War Games came in, Sea of Steel and Iwo Jima. I've played Sea of Steel like 3 or 4 times now. Totally enjoying it. I decided to play it first because it felt like everybody who'd got both of them was playing the Iwo Jima game, so I decided to go the other way. And then only those of you who are ASL folks will appreciate this, but this is a third party. This is Advancing Fire ASL. Historical ASL module. So that's what's going on with that. I haven't even, this one still got the plastic on it, still got the shrink on it. Okay, well, that's it for news. That was quite a lot of news today. But on to the topic. But first, before we switch to there, let's just say like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, super chats, super stickers, all that stuff. I want to say thanks, of course, to all the supporters on Ko-Fi. Really helps out. There's info in the video description if you're interested in that. It's just like Patreon, just a different company. And of course, there's also my affiliate links to Noble Knight and Cube for Me. I seem to have I have a lot more Cube for Me users than Noble Knight users, actually, but I appreciate all of them. And of course, I appreciate all of you who come out every couple of weeks and talk to me. Okay, let's get on with 1977. So I did this. I didn't make a slideshow this time, because I wanted I just went with a series of BGG links, because I wanted the option of being able to mess around and look in at some of the other images on some of these games. So my purpose tonight is just kind of look at a year. I chose 1977. It may seem random, but it just happens to be the year that I bought my very first Avalon Hill game. I bought Tobruk, which of course it had come out a few years earlier, so it's not on tonight's list. But the summer of '77 was when my family moved to the city, and I found my first real war games in a department store. The closest thing I'd ever had to a war game before that was, the Milton Bradley dogfight game, part of that. What were they called? American Heritage Series or something like that. We'd gone for a family trip to visit some relatives in the summer of '76, which was the bicentennial, and I bought a couple of those Milton Bradley games down there because they were celebrating the part of the Milton Bradley was trying to make some money on the bicentennial, I guess. Anyway, so we're going to look at games that came out in 1977. We'll see how it goes. We're just going to talk about the games. I've got I don't know, 25 games to talk about. We'll see. Hopefully we'll get through them all. We probably will. They're sorted by BGG's geek rating, which is pretty meaningless rating, but it was just a way to sort them. It's mostly, it means the ones that got played the most are near the top of the list. Okay, so like I said, I'm tried to do this with BGG tabs rather than my usual slideshow. Uh, that's very funny. Randy, Randy and I are wargaming blood brothers. It looks like started the same year. Well, we're the same vintage, aged like fine wine, or more likely like really old Kentucky bourbon. I'm as old as a good bottle of Pappy Van Winkle at this point. Okay, so we'll see if we'll see if these tabs things work for me. I haven't tried it before, so we if we fire and burn, it's been good to know all of you, but we'll see how it goes. Here we go. This is the first game, pretty classic, iconic one. Squad leader. So 77 was also a great year to pick. Well, yeah, 1 year old. So, you're only 13 years younger than me. Then it's not the older we get, the more we seem to be closer. That's the way it's going to work, Vlad. Yeah, Squad Leader, probably the most influential game in my wargaming life because I took to it like a duck to water. It was about the fourth or fifth game I bought, and I was totally hooked. And then I started playing ASL in 90 or 85 when it came out, and still I still play ASL. I for a good decade I was one of those guys where ASL was well, we call it a lifestyle game sometimes. It was definitely the only game I was playing. I still owned plenty of games, but I just kind of put everything on the shelf. But yeah, and of course this purple cover isn't the cover most of us have. Most of us have the one that's orange yellow in the background. Um, it's this is the very rare first one, but I thought I'd show it. I wanted to show you this one image because I think anybody who's played this game will instantly, this will be recognizable. This is the setup of the guards counterattack, the very first scenario of the first game. This is how we all cut our teeth. And what I think is kind of funny about this scenario and the setup is the way ASL has evolved and the way it's played today. You rarely see stacks like this. The units are totally spread out. And in fact, many of the units, many players will deploy as many of their squads as possible into half squads. The idea of single stack kill stacks is really kind of a quaint and old-fashioned idea that goes all the way back to Squad Leader. But it goes back to Squad Leader because I'm pretty sure this was like the mandated setup in the first scenario. Anyway, there you go. That was my first my first taste of squad level combat, and I've never looked back. As we saw in one of the episodes a few months ago, I don't know, I've probably got at least 20 different tactical World War II games, probably more than that. It's crazy. The second most popular game of 77 on this list, it's kind of I don't want to get into semantics about what's a war game and what isn't a war game, but there it is. It's a good old ogre. A lot of you will have played this. Take a look at that. Take a look at that price, $2.95. I didn't buy my copy. My copy had a later cover than this too, but it was only a few years later. I think I got mine in about 1980 for about like $4 or $5 Canadian. So still super cheap. Ogre, I'm surprised it's lived on all these years. If you've spent any time in game stores, you might have seen that giant ogre box that's available. Where it's this, I don't know, this was like a couple $100 or something. I don't know. Some people totally love ogre. I did not. I didn't like it much at all. I mean, I really like the micro game format, and I bought a whole bunch of them as time went along. But the one giant ogre versus all the tiny little guys, it just didn't do anything for me. When I did play it, I was more happy to play the little guys and have a little bit of at least a little bit of maneuverability. I found it dead boring to be the ogre. Anyway, it's uh, you know it's an iconic game, and obviously, yeah, that's true. Those so we get all caught up in component quality these days, and we even talk about how thick counters are. These old micro games and some of these Steve Jackson games from this era, they were mounted, but they were mounted on very thin, very thin cardboard. Okay. Uh, Up next, this one's totally one of my favorites. I didn't get this game in '77 when it first came out. I got it maybe I don't know, 8 or 9 years later. But this is definitely a game that stood the test of time. It's still played at conventions. It's at the World Board Gaming Championships. They still give out a plaque for this one. That the WBC started out as Avalon Con and Don Con, and was started out as a war game uh, event, and it's kind of got away from that of over the years, of course. But a few games have managed to stick in there, and Victory in the Pacific is one of them. It's one of those games where there's like a million. A million articles in the old Avalon Hill magazines about strategies, tactics, things like that. And the guys that play it now, they know how much to bid for each side. I just wanted to quickly show here's the old counters. These are the ones that came with the game, which I had totally had no problem with. I appreciated those the little actual silhouettes. I thought those all looked great. But this is one of the games where third-party people have made gorgeous new counters for it. So if you want to pimp your copy, those look gorgeous. This is a game I wish I got a chance to play more often than I do. It's one of those, like, every time I see it on the shelf, I go, oh, why don't I should take that one. Next, sort of similar but different. Flat top. This is looking at the war, the Pacific War, in a completely different way. Whereas Victory in the Pacific was grand strategic. This is getting down to the nitty gritty and organizing flights on carriers and all that kind of stuff. This is a Craig S. Taylor game, and if he's the guy that designed Air Force and Dauntlets and maybe Wooden Ships and Iron Men, maybe Firepower. He's passed away now, but as a designer, he was really a guy that was really focused on tactical, really detailed kind of tactical stuff. Oh, there we go. I'm not the only one who was a big fan of Victory in the Pacific. Good for you, lad. I'm glad to see that. I'm always glad to see that game still being played. The other thing, now this game, I do own it. Whereas I'm really eager to play Victory in the Pacific, like anytime if somebody asked me, I'd say yes. I sort of want to play flat top, and I sort of don't know if I have the energy. It's a bigger lift for sure to get that going. Now, on the other hand, that Roger B. McGowan cover is one of his best, and I mean, he's a master. But I just think that cover is amazing. Well, and yeah, here let me show you. That's so this was originally a battle line game. This is the original battle line cover. Um, no wonder Avalon Hill decided to make their own. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I'd keep that under your hat, Randy. Like you don't want anybody asking to see your actual war game developer and designer card. If you don't have one because you've never played Victory in the Pacific. Anyway, good old flat top. It's like it was too much for me when I was young. Might still be too much for me, but I do have a copy in case, maybe just in case I get the urge to finally do it, and the time. It always seems like there's something in terms of the amount of time it takes. There's always seems to be something more interesting to me that I could spend the time with. But I appreciate, it's another game that people still talk about and still play from time to time. If you watch Ardwolf's channel, he's a big fan of flat top. He's always talking about wanting to play flat top. Machiavelli, another battle line game. Actually, this is actually the battle line cover. Republished by another one, republished by Avalon Hill. I haven't played this one. I remember this isn't the cover that I remember, but I remember seeing it on the shelves often. And I'd always heard that it's basically it's kind of like diplomacy on steroids. To be honest, I'm kind of surprised that it's this high up on the list. I didn't realize this game had such a following. I mean, diplomacy's got a huge following, but I didn't know Machiavelli did. Well, whatever. If you look at the ratings on BGG, it's there's like 1,100 people have rated the game, so a lot of people have played it. What do I know? Maybe I'm missing out on a really good game. But I heard it's kind of like diplomacy, but with a whole bunch more stuff that's more fiddly. But whether you like the more fiddly stuff or not, your mileage may vary on that, right? We get to our first SPI game, War of the Ring. Okay, so let's just get this out of the way right away. Randy's never played Victory in the Pacific, and he's still publishing war games. I'm part of this hobby, and I'm not a Tolkien guy. I'm barely a fantasy guy at all. So I have not played this. It's funny. I sort of always thought this was a multiplayer game, but actually it's when I looked at it a little bit, it's just a two-player game unless someone wants to be Sauron, who I think is a dragon, some kind of monster, I think. Anyway, and then you can play it as three-player. The BGG text says that it's highly sought after as a collector's item, but Noble Knight has it for 150 bucks or 250. There's a version that has 2 expansion games in with this main game. But anyway, 150 doesn't sound like it doesn't sound like a real collector's item. It sounds just like maybe it's a bit rare. We'll see. Anyway, I haven't played that at all. So I don't have anything to say about it other than it's Richard Berg and Howard Barash, who I think there was a picture of him, but I skipped by it. Anyway, and then the next game is another of those micro games. I did have this one. I got, it's sort of surprising that these micro games are so high on the list, but I guess because they were $2.95, maybe they everybody just bought them because they couldn't afford the $12 or $18 for the Avalon Hill games, which is what they were going for in 1977. I think it was about that. Anyway, this melee game is basically arena combat. It's not really role playing, but it's sort of like D&D in that you get to equip your fighter with different armor or different arms, stuff like that. You'd think with the way I love tactical games, I would have loved this, but it didn't it didn't really do it for me. It's not on, I say I really like the micro games and Steve Jackson stuff, and the first two that have come up here, I've said they weren't into it. There we go. Jack Nastyface definitely did it. So I didn't. So Ogre and Melee, not really my thing. But the first one of those little games that I really dug was Car Wars, but I think it comes out in like 1980 or something. Yeah, there we go. So Jack loved it. Uh, Cardboard Commander loved it. So it's got a good place on this list. It's like I said, the tactical combat, but with in a sort of a fantasy setting. This is a gorgeous cover. So I was into Traveler for a while, so I checked this out as it was a game, but supposedly set in the world Traveler was set in. But I never got to play it. I never found anybody to play this with. I so I don't know. I love that cover. There's been a couple newer versions. So there's actually one that's printed just as recently as 2019. But I'm not going to even show you. Well, maybe I will here. That box cover is gorgeous. I think the newer box covers just totally blow compared to that old one. This just doesn't do it for me. That just looks like I don't know, a pile of spaghetti with some batteries thrown into it. There you go. Oh, there we go. So Dave Poirier also loved Melee. And Cardboard Commander talks about one-page bulge. That's another Steve Jackson game. Yeah, for sure. People love that. They loved it, I think, as much for the idea of it as anything else, but they loved it. Well, yeah, you never played an RPG, but you would play Traveler. Well, I totally get that. Traveler was a cool game. I mean, it's just an RPG in space. It was the first space RPG, as far as I know. But yeah, I didn't play Imperium, and I don't have it anymore. But it's Mark Miller who is the Traveler guy, and one of the guys. He's got a deep history in the hobby too, and he's been in the news recently. I think I told you last time. They're resurrecting the Europa series, and Mark Miller is heading that up. He was one of the co-designers of the original Dragnok Asten, so it makes sense that he's one of the guys bringing that before. Well, there you go. A lot of love for Traveler tonight, even though the Traveler isn't on the list. I have to confess, I love Traveler too, but I remember my Traveler box. Remember they came in those small boxes, black boxes with red writing. I thought it was kind of funny. I used to hide my pot in there. I thought having my pot hidden in a box called Traveler was funny. My mom never found it. Anyway. That's where my old Traveler box ended up. Next on the list, Arab-Israeli Wars. This, of course, is the third in the sort of trilogy. The Panzerblitz Panzer Leader uses the same sort of system. Hey, Wolfdog, good to see you. Shout out to Minnesota, Minneapolis. Hope you're doing all right. I loved Panzer Blitz and Panzer Leader, played those a lot, but I never bought this. I think it was one of those things. So this comes out in 77. Back then, I never bought any Vietnam games even. So the Arab-Israeli Wars in Vietnam all felt a bit too recent to me. For whatever reason, that's just how I felt then. I don't feel that way exactly now, but I did feel that way then. Well, yeah. I have a total love of desert games as well, but they're all World War II desert games. But maybe if I'd played this, I'd have got the bug earlier. Who knows? Anyway, this is another one where I'll just show you. The folks have redone the counters for this game as well, and this could. I'm not a component junkie, but those those look pretty great. The numbers are nice and clear, and the silhouettes and colors are fantastic. So good on you, David Little, for pimping out Arab Israeli wars for us. Here's another one that I'm a little surprised at how high it is up the list. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, John, I think I'm the same way. I was a Panzer Blitz and Panzer Leader. In those years, I was playing almost exclusively World War II. That's the other thing as well, and that could be part of the reason why I dismissed Arab-Israeli wars. It just, if it had been another, if it had been Panzer Blitz, Panzer Leader in the Western Desert, I would have bought it in a snap for sure. Anyway, Cobra. This S&T game, then it came out in a flat pack, I think, and it also got republished, or a new version, I think, when they were bought by SPR. Really ugly cover for the SPR game, TSR game. But this is a kind of a classic cover. Yeah, I bought a copy of this last year, maybe 2 years ago. I found it at a good price used. It features the closing of the Falaise pocket, which we talked about in a previous game. So I knew there'd be some Canadians in the OB. So I bought it. I played the first few turns to get a feel for it, and I remember liking it, but I don't remember what was special about it. Well. So supply rules hard to deal with, Jerry says, which could be. Like I said, I only played a handful of turns, but I definitely liked it. And actually, there was like the TSR version, and then there was another. There was a Japanese version as recently as 2007. Oh, hey. Yeah, there you go. Hey, Nick, good to see you again. Nick says he didn't mind the supply rules, so your mileage may vary. You might be you might be on Team Nick, you might be on Team Jerry on that one. Well, that's kind of funny, but that totally happens sometimes. You jump in where you jump in, right? Forsyth there says he got Arab-Israeli wars in about 80, and then didn't get Panzer Blitz or Panzer Leader until fairly recently, and that's a totally valid way to do it. The only crappy part about that is like Panzer Leader will play pretty great and you'll still love it, but Panzer Blitz you'll go like, where the hell's opportunity fire? What's this business of moving from bush to bush without without being able to be shot at? That's the thing that going backwards will get you on that one. Yeah, well, I don't think I have anything else to tell you about Cobra. I'm definitely going to give it another shot and find out whether I'm on Team Jerry or Team Nick on that one. This is like I was back in that period. I started out on Avalon Hill, and I bought way more Avalon Hill games over the years than SPI S&T games. My very first, we'll get to it. My very first SPI game came out this year. I didn't buy it till about 1980, but we'll get to it anyway. Before that, this is a bit of a classic. Classic designers. This is designed by Randall Reed and Vance von Voorhis. Was Randall Reed the guy who did Richthofen's War? I think maybe. Anyway, kind of a legendary designer, and Vance von Voorhis still designing games today. Yeah, Panzer Bush, exactly, Dave. Yeah, that's what they used to call that tactic for sure. Anyway, I don't know why I never bought this game back in the day. I remember, it was on the shelf in my local game store. It was always available. It has that it kind of tries to pull you in with the idea that there's the Crete game, but there's also a Malta game in there. Ah, there you go. There you go. So I made a mistake, and you know what? You know what I think is maybe the reason I didn't buy this game. This isn't a terrible cover, but I have to say, I was addicted to Roger McGowan covers, Roger McGowan's Avalon Hill covers. I if I had the choice between two games, it seems like I'd often pick the one with the Roger McGowan cover. Uh, but I was looking at this to go like, oh my god, I really should have this. But what really struck me, so that's you can see the Malta map there, but this is the this would be the Crete map. That's a lot of takes up a lot of table, right? Like I don't know if I'd have to put two tables together like they have if I was going to play that. Yeah, exactly, Nick. Uh, Roger passing away was like it was just it was a blow to me. He's one of my heroes in the whole hobby. And yeah, I'd corresponded with him a little bit. I'm very happy to say that he sent me a few prints of his covers that he signed. Uh, he was just he'd seen a review of his book that I did, and he just sent them. I didn't. They came. I had no idea they were coming, and I was so happy. I was really hoping to get to meet him on my next trip to California, but then the fires hit, and he passed away. 4x8 with it hanging off. Yeah, like look at that map. It's just like it goes on forever. Uh, it, it's well, it's funny that it's Crete because it reminds me of so many North Africa games that's what the map basically looks like. Anyway, uh, it's I think Jerry's not the only person who liked this game. Um, Ah, there you go. Yeah, there, there. Yeah, we'll always be on the. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's a beautiful book. I'm sure you can still get a copy from either from our RBM Studios or maybe through GMT. They might have done it. Yeah, that's a lot handier to play for sure. A magazine game. That's that's not on tonight's list, but yeah, I'm always interested in airdrop games because I like the randomness of if you're doing them at the scale uh, where the sticks land wherever they land, and you have to kind of um, you roll with the punches. I'm totally into that. I think that's a really fun way to play a game. Yeah, there you go. Okay, up next, Labatai, Auerstadt. Um, this is not the first Labatt game, but I think it might be the second one. I think Moscow was the first one, and this was the second one. This isn't. This is the Clash of Arms cover. This is obviously not the original cover. Like this might be actually. Oh no, that's just the rules. But anyway, I have never played. I've never played Labatt. I don't think I ever will. It's just too fiddly for me, I think. But the series lives on. It's legendary. It's still going. Well, if Vance does, if Vance works in this field, it's always with a buy one get one free sort of thing. Obviously, um, yeah, Vance didn't. He just had a came out a couple of years ago too. Demyansk Shield, I think it was maybe. Anyway, he's definitely still putting it out there. Um, I'm I think that there's been no reaction or so far to the Labatt, and I'm taking it maybe a lot of people are like me and they've given the whole Labatt experience a bit of a pass. Who knows? But by this time there's 3 sets of rules. You can choose your set of rules if you want to play a Labatt game. But I don't know. Labatt looks a bit to me like you're playing miniatures games on a board game in a way. It just doesn't look like my thing. So we'll zip past it. Back to Craig S. Taylor. This is the second game in a series. Air Force was the first one, which did all the planes from Europe, and then this is Dauntless was a second game, which gave you a bunch of the Pacific plays. This is it's. I think if you, I recently interviewed J.D. Webster, the guy who does the Fighting Wing series, kind of like the dean of air war guys right now. And even though he would never play this now, if you talk to him or Terry Simo, who we talked about earlier, who's the developer of so many air games and the designer of Bloody April, an air game of his own, both those guys would say they played this and Air Force till the counters wore out back in the day. They just loved it, and there's lots to like about it. I think the thing for JD was he just he's a skilled pilot himself, and he just found a better way to model air combat. But these were called aircraft data cards, and there's one, of course, for each model in the game. And those I would buy these games just to stare at these cards for hours and look at the differences between planes. I was always more of a World War I guy than World War II, but I had both Air Force and Dauntless. You're not alone there. I've heard from other people that they didn't like these Avalon Hill cards, but I never played the Battle Line one, so I don't know what I was missing in terms of their cards. I do sort of. This is the old Battle Line cover, which is not bad, but yeah, it's probably a toss up which covers better. Yeah, well, there we go. So we have several fans, and I talked to another guy on my server the other night, Joshua, and he said he just played a ton of Air Force back in the day as well. So there's a lot of fans of this series that are still out there. There we go. See, Cardboard Commander Jerry and I were on the same wavelength. Signed copies from Roger, and now we find out that World War I air as well. So there you go. We're on the same page. Anyway, Dauntless, perfectly good game, but I think if I'm going to dive into World War II tactical air, I think I'm going to try J.D. Webster's current Fighting Wing series and give that a go. In fact, I'm on the. I have a copy of Buffalo Wings, which I've yet to play, and I've backed the Kickstarter for Tiger Wing, which is the new one that's coming out. Okay, another SPI game. Highway to the Reich. Yeah, well, that doesn't give us a bigger. I was trying to give you a bigger look at the cover. Not a bad cover. SPI often had great covers. This is Market Garden at company scale. So 2,400 counters, 6 maps. Decision Games redid this one, so there's another version. I think there's kind of substantial changes from this original version to the new version. But 6 maps sounds terrible. The 2,400 counters actually sounds more terrible to me. But this is the 6 maps on a table. It doesn't look any worse than the Crete game, really, does it? You think it's going to be, but I guess what we might think is that this map board is going to have a lot more a lot more counters on it than that creep or Crete game did. Anyway, yeah, I've never played this. Uh, it it's it it sounds it sounds like a bit of a monster game. I don't know if it is or not, but it's not. It just it always felt too big for me. I mean, there's certainly different. There's certainly big games that I'm interested in, but I never. This wasn't one of the ones that grabbed my interest. Yeah, yeah, well, that's the thing, right? Like these games that take more than 8 feet. Yeah, where were we going to put them as a kid? For a lot of people, where are they going to put them as an adult? It's just not going to happen. Up next, October War, another SPI strategy and tactics game. Same. This is interesting in that the same year that Arab-Israeli War came out. Out comes October War, and tactical as well. So there's some. It's interesting that they both came out at the same time. This is designed by Irad B. Hardy, who was also one of the designers of Highway of the Reich, which we just saw. Yeah, Jonathan, I think a lot of people regimental scale is regimental operational is kind of the sweet spot for a lot of folks. Keep things a little more manageable. That's the word I'm looking for, manageable. Uh, well, yeah, I would say I had one too in that I had much like I'm about to have again in my own house here. I had I had a basement that was that sort of belonged to me when I was a teenager. My sister's bedroom was upstairs, and my bedroom was in the basement, and then I had the rest of the basement to make a mess in as I wanted. Anyway, October War. Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting that we had two Arab-Israeli tactical games come out at the same time. This is what I wanted to show you about this one. Well, no, that's well, look at this. Here's the whole shebang. Um, your typical magazine game. Nothing special about that. But some people today would just hate that map. If you have a close look at that map, you'll see the hexes, the terrain. It fits exactly in the hex, right? Like the woods, if it's a woods hex, it's all green to six sides. If it's a hill, it's brown to six sides. There's none of this business of trying to make it look like woods or look like hills. It's like it's incredibly functional. But I still find it very like I like the look of that. That's well, there you go. I totally liked it. I love this style of maps. I still prefer function to form when it comes to maps. Not that you can't do both, but I had no problem with this style of maps as well. And I'm not sure, but I think we may see more maps like this from strategy and tactics on this list. And maybe even if we looked at a map for this, Walk am Rhine, bulge game. This was 77 was a good year for monster games. This is when monster games were kind of getting going. This is known as a monster, but it's one of those ones that is thought of more as big rather than complex. What sometimes we call a big dumb game. I passed this one over because I've never been a guy who buys a ton of bulge games. That's never been my thing. But it it this is a super popular game. Yeah, there you go. Uh, I think Randy, I think we got quite a few guys that have played this one a fair number of times. But well, here's the map again. Uh, Nick, Nick, you're not going to like this one. You're not going to like this one either. It's same basic art style as the last one. I totally like it. Um, this is there's the box cover, the blue. I think that green one came later. Anyway, this is Joe Balkowski with Dunnigan and Simonson co-designers, but um, Joe Balkowski, another legendary designer. Um, that if I did a bunch of these things year by year by year, we'd see his name on a ton of people's favorite games. All right, back to Avalon Hill. Well, actually, back to Battleline, but this is the Avalon Hill cover, Fury in the West. So yeah, this is the Avalon Hill cover. This was originally a Battleline game. The Battleline cover, I'll show it to you. Maybe it's awful. I wasn't into the American Civil War back in '77 or even the '80s, so I missed out on this totally. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, Simonson was yeah, great graphic art director and a great guy for what would you call it? User interface. He was a great guy for keeping your when possible, keeping your face on the map instead of as much as possible, instead of having to constantly look up charts and read things. Anyway, Fury in the West. Over the years I've become a ACW gamer, so I bought it used super cheap a few years ago, and I played it, and I thought it stood up really well. I, so when I was looking at this, I saw something that said it was like groundbreaking when it first came out. I totally can't recall why. All I remember when I played it a couple of years ago was that it still played really well, and it was a game that like I'd be happy to play again. Here, yeah, this is the Battleline cover. Now it's interesting. This is the first cover I remember in my local store, but I could swear that store, yeah, that's right. The cover is hideous. It's awful. I could swear that my store didn't actually sell Battleline stuff. I'm wondering when Avalon Hill bought a bunch of these games from Battleline and redid them, if maybe they also got some leftover stock from Battleline, uh, because I definitely remember this cover on the shelf, and this is a cover that would never have enticed me into buying a game. It's well, I get what they were going for, but it just when you compare that to Roger McGowan's painting of Grant, like there's just no comparison. The next one, it kind of stands in for a few games that, well, we might have more than one, but I think no more than two. 1977 was a year that Avalon Hill redid a bunch of, they did new versions of a bunch of the classic line. And D-Day was one of them. So commonly called D-Day 77. It added a few, like when it came up with its version, it had the basic game, but then they added things like strategic movement and air interdiction or tactical air, stuff like that. Charles Roberts, of course, original designer of this, but when it was redone in '77, Jim Stoller gets a co-design credit for him. And if you're an ASL, that name will pop up to you, because I'm pretty sure Stoller was the original, the name on the original 9.2 when they first put names on the leader counters in SL or ASL. Anyway, some people still play this game. It hasn't totally lost its luster. Out of those classics, this one still gets played. I think Africa Core still gets played. The original version, of course, had the old pink and blue counters. This is another one. Well, even this version, I think, had pink and blue counters. but somebody's redone the counters. Another one where somebody's redone the counters, and um, you can print these. You can print these off if you want. If you've got the patience to do an art projects. Yeah, I don't mind those H covers with the stripe and the text as well. All that stuff. I don't know though if it's nostalgia, or if I like some of that stuff for nostalgia reasons, or because I really like it. What I do know is even those old Avalon Hill covers I like a lot better than that Fury in the West Battleline cover with the photo of the book of tactics and the pistol and whatnot. That just it just looks like some stuff on a table as opposed to the actual made covers that we see in so many of the other games. Back to SPI. Full the gap. Now I don't know. Um, Today we'd call this Cold War Gone Hot game. But of course, when this game was made, they were looking at a future war, not a hypothetical past. So this is a Jim Dunnigan game, and this one like the year before was the fantastic Panzergruppe Guderian came out, which was I think the game that introduced the idea of untried units, where you didn't know the unit strength until they actually came in contact and fought for the first time. I think Panzergruppe Guderian was that. Anyway, this Full the Gap game did the same thing. You didn't know what the how good your units were going to be until you actually used them. Here, uh, pretty typical two color counters for the period. These ones are these are a little well, there we see uh, a little bit of tiny text. Really, this is the kind of counters that if they were published today, even in a multicolor version, that text just wouldn't wouldn't fly with a lot of people. Wouldn't fly with me. I those little tiny numbers at the top would just get me. Even the NATO symbols here are pretty tiny when you look at them not close up. Anyway, Full the Gap. It may be the first of those future war games that became Cold War Gone Hot that I can remember. Yeah, yeah. I think PG maybe was the very first one, but I'm not totally sure. All right, back to another one of those 1977 remakes. This is Gettysburg '77. This is definitely one where it took the original game becomes the basic game in this version, and then they had an intermediate version. The basic game just says like you have 25 counters each, well, 50 counters, but then the intermediate game adds a whole bunch of stuff, including like there's now 160 counters, and then there's an advanced game that adds a whole bunch more stuff. So um, it's uh, a, a, the redo version is by Mick Ull, UHL, who I don't think a lot of people remember him, and I think he actually passed away a few years ago. But if you're like if you're an old Avalon Hiller, you'll remember his name off a lot of games, and from reading the General magazine, and yet another one of those guys who had his name on a leader counter in SL. Um, I haven't played Gettysburg '77, so I can't tell you much about it. But oh, I do. This will be funny. Well, I don't know, funny, but so same year. This is an um, Avalon Hill game from '77. Here's the map there. So this is the completely opposite style to the SPI style, right? Where they're trying to give a more realistic map. Now this is as far as that goes, I think this is a pretty good example of that. I think it's not a bad map, but it's definitely got a completely different vibe than those Simonson maps that we looked at for those SPI games. Yeah, there. I think you're right. I think he was. I think he was an 8-1. That sounds about right. We remember Stoller because 9-2 is 9-2 is kind of the ideal leader. For some reason, everybody loves a 9-2 even more than a 10-3. Yeah, I don't know. This Avalon Hill map more realistic maybe, but in a way, I still, even though I'm a big Avalon Hill guy, I kind of like those. I kind of like those 1977 maps from SPI. This is a game I totally don't remember, and this is the first. This is Frank Chadwick, Game Designers Workshop. This is our first GDW game. GDW was only a few years old at this point, maybe 5 years old. They basically started with Grand Knock Ostend, I think, in '73, and then kind of went from there. They go on to being the Europa guys and all that kind of stuff. But this has got to be another Roger cover, which I quite like. And this is Dien Bien Phu. I'm betting this is one of the first games on that battle as well. Not a now we have 2 or 3 games in that battle, including the what I think many people would call Kim Kanger's masterpiece game. His game on Dien Bien Phu is fantastic. If you haven't played it, you should leave the channel right now and go order it somewhere because it's a fantastic game. Anyway, I don't remember seeing this back in the day, but it's at this point on this list, so it's got some. It definitely has some traction. But we're getting into some games that have that are going to be slightly. Well, some of them you'll totally remember, and other ones you'll go like, "Oh, I don't remember that." This next one, back to SPI. Oh, we don't have a bigger picture. This Grand Strategic American Civil War, another Irad B. Hardy game, another monster game. This is, SPI was, when people say that maybe monster games started to kill the industry, I don't know that I agree with that, but it was definitely monster games are becoming a thing. In any case, this is not the only grand strategic game that SPI would do on the American Civil War. I think Dunnigan did his own version. But this one, not a well-loved game. In fact, I have a quote from Eric Lee Smith, who, great designer, who was a designer. He was a designer for SPI at that time and went on to do his own grand strategic Civil War game with Victory Games, which is being republished probably next year by Revolution. And so anyway, I got, a real American Civil War game. He said, one of the worst of the old SPI monster game, a game that was never play tested at the campaign level. I was there, and which was pushed out of the door for commercial reasons. The game is broken. The latest version from Decision seems to leave it broken. So that was his. He loved that's on BGG. That's where I found that. But Eric doesn't pull any punches. He basically confirmed something that had bothered me when I was a kid. The part of the reason I stuck a lot to Avalon Hill games more than S&T or SPI games was I don't know. Even as a teenager, I was worried that the strict production schedule at SPI would mean games would run the risk of being put out the door before they were truly finished. So maybe I was right. Well, I don't know about that. I think Eric's is a pretty good guy, but yeah, well, he's a good speaker as well. So maybe you're right. I don't know. Anyway, I've never played it. I have no desire to get it. I've got a closet full of American Civil War grand strategic games that I totally love, and I don't think I need to. Sometimes I buy a game just because I want to see how it works, even if it's a failure. Yeah, no, I totally, I hear what you mean, Nick. But this War Between the States, there's nothing about it that makes me go, oh, I want to check that out just to see how it works. So I'm not going to try. I'm not going to track that down. Here's another GDW game. Another one. The GDW games. I don't remember this. The first ones that I really remember were those 120 series that recently were redone and repackaged into a kind of a quad. Anyway, this one I popped on the list because here we have yet another game on Arab-Israeli war stuff. But this time not tactical. This one's operational. This is Frank Chadwick, so the head honcho. Actually, this game was actually originally designed in '74, designed by John Hill, and Frank Chadwick redid it, changed it substantially to make this game for GDW. And then I think there's a Decision Games version of this that is basically more like a redo of this Chadwick version. So originally a John Hill game, who, if you don't remember, he's the original designer of Squad Leader. So, a kind of a giant in the hobby already. But yeah, haven't played this. I just thought it was interesting to see how many Arab-Israeli war games were popping up on the list tonight. Another GDW game, in a way. Well, it is. This is the Europa series, Invasion of Poland, of course. By this time, I think this is like the fifth game or something. I'm not sure. The Europa game, the Europa game series is going pretty strong at this point, based off that original Drangnak Ostend engine. This one was sort of a decent seller for this year. People are interested in it, and I left it on the list because, like we talked about earlier, the fact that Europa is being revived by Mark Miller and Rich Banner. I think actually Rich Banner is kind of passing it on to Mark Miller, and that's what's happening there. But anyway, I thought it was worth mentioning. This next one's not a game. It's a book. I don't know. Did anybody else have this book? This is the 1980 version. It first came out in '77. This was like the second edition. But I still have my copy. It's packed up in storage with the rest of my games. But yeah, it's called The Comprehensive Guide to Board Wargaming. I'm sure it's considerably less comprehensive now, but I've been reading a lot of war game books that came out in the last 2 years, and I can't wait actually to get this out of my out of storage, because I thought it would really be interesting to look back and see what Nicholas Palmer had to say about the, like, I can barely remember reading what I read about this book. So to see what was thought of as good design, because that's going to be a lot of what this book talks about. To see what was thought of as good design in 1977 or 1980 even will be interesting compared to what we think of as good design these days. Okay, just got a handful more, and we won't spend a lot of time on all of them, but there's some interesting things here. A Mighty Fortress. I didn't even know this existed in 1977, but interestingly, to me at least, this is a 6-player game on the Reformation. Sounds kind of familiar, right? This was designed by Rudolf Heinz, developed by good old Richard Berg, but it just feels to me like an obvious precursor to Here I Stand. I mean, obviously, totally different systems, but the same amount of players, the same topic. It makes me think. Was Ed Beach had played this game when he was younger and wanted to have a go at it himself? Maybe, I don't know. That just came to mind when I saw that it was kind of exactly the same setup as Here I Stand. The first quads came out in 75, so 2 years before this. They came out, there was, no, maybe 3 or 4 of them that came out in 75. They were a big success, so they kept doing it. This Modern Battles 2 is obviously the second volume. It's got 3 hypothetical battles and and one that's not the 7-Day War one. Jerusalem is obviously not. And again, one more Arab-Israeli war title in 1977. It was obviously on a lot of designers' minds. Here's a game I know nothing about. I was totally surprised to see it on this list. Russo-Japanese War. I would have known nothing about it, but if you look at the very bottom, you might be able to see the designers here are Frank Davis and Mark Herman, along with Redmond Simonson. Frank Davis and Mark Herman, both giants in the industry, but really, really different designers. I would have loved to be a fly on the wall in the rooms to see those two guys working on this game together, because I think of their personalities as being really different. Not that one is better or anything like that. Just I'd be totally interested to see how they got along, because I think of them as two very very different very different men. I say that having read them online and stuff, but also I've interviewed both of them, so I got a bit of the vibe that way too. Back to another book. So this is Dunnigan. Dunnigan's war game design book. This would be, this would be interesting for those of us who, I don't have a copy of this. Noble Knight has it for about $85, I think. It'd be interesting to see how much of this holds up that would be helpful if you were deciding you wanted to get into war game design. If you thought, I want to start reading up on it because I want to get better at it or something. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see, or if you just go, oh, this is just a book full of old ideas, and they're interesting because they were new ideas at the time. Who knows? Anyway, two books on the list. I just popped them in there because they happen to show up. Canadian Civil War from SPI. This is another Dunnigan, and I don't remember this at all. I do remember Brian Train telling me about it when I interviewed him last fall. Yeah, you're right. Dunnigan was a really good writer, and that would make it interesting to read. Anyway, when I saw this, I thought it was going to be like a book or a game basically on tension between Quebec separatism, but I think it's broader than that. It's a game on just a game on power politics in Canada, which I think, I mean, it's funny that it makes this list, because like I said, there's like another 120, another 150 games after this that we're not even going to talk about. This, I can't see this being a big big seller. Like this is one of those games where you'd think Jim Dunnigan was going like, I don't care about the audience, I'm going to do this anyway. It's not something he did often, right? He was famous for the fact that he put out those survey cards and they guided him into what he was going to publish. But if he was going to publish a game on Canadian power politics, he definitely wasn't trying to sell a ton of copies, because he must have known that wasn't going to happen. Okay, 2 more. This was my very first SPI flat pack. This is the S&T version, but same game. I got this, and I was like, the paper map was like, oh, all my Avalon Hill games have a folded map. But then underneath that, like, there was the tray, the counter tray. Was like, oh, this is a really good idea. I think I wish more games had that. That was every game should have it. I thought. Anyway, I played the game a bit. Oh, am I? Oh, well, I wonder what's going on. You can still hear me, but the photo didn't change. Well, I wonder. Can you? Yeah, can you see me now, or is the photo still there? Ah, red sun rising. Oh, we missed a few. Okay. Um, I don't know what's. I wonder. I don't know why it's. I have no idea. Now you can see all me. Can you? Hmm. Oh, now you can see raid. Okay, so now we're caught up. All right. Well, I've only got two more, so I'll go through these quickly before the whole. I told you the whole thing might crash and burn. I didn't know how it was going to go. Anyway, this raid game, I bounced off it. I didn't. I didn't. As much as I was interested in SPI, I didn't quite get it. The graphics I found were uninspiring. They aren't as it's Simonson, but they're not as pretty as well. Here, there's I, well, let me show you a better one. If you're still seeing me, who knows? We don't know. Here's scenario one, raid on Entebbe. Yeah, those that I just found those counters and those graphics uninspiring. It just felt clunky to my young cardboard pusher. Just didn't quite get it. But the funny thing is, this is a Mark Herman game. This is one of his earlier games, um, and so I go, oh, maybe I should revisit it after all these years. I'm a fan of Mark Herman for sure. Well, there you go. Maybe Nick's right. Maybe I glossed over a gem. Anyway, I wanted to like it. I just didn't. And I think I got it around the same time as I got Squad Leader, and I just went Squad Leader crazy. So that was it. Okay, last game on the list, Air War, and this is a game I totally haven't played, but uh, as much as I like air combat games, jets just weren't my thing. I have got a decent knowledge of World War One planes and even World War Two planes, but my knowledge of planes really ends there. So anyway, all that to say, I wasn't an air war guy. But if you listen to my interview with JD Webster, which it's a great, it's not. I mean, I'm not great. JD Webster was great. It's a wonderful interview because he's a lifelong gamer who then became a pilot of A7s and F-16s. And then he took that knowledge and started designing games with it. So he's intimately knowledgeable about both war games and air combat. Anyway, I would say after from listening to JD that this is probably the game more than any other that um, drove him to designing his own games. Yeah, hey, John, I think, I think that thing you said, a bit of a grind. That's the thing that got JD. He said you'd be playing for 45 minutes and you still, maybe your landing gear wasn't up yet. It wasn't quite that bad, but he just found it so hyper fiddly and slow that he felt he had to do something his own way. And even though he's really well known now for his Fighting Wings World War II series, J.D. Webster's first games were modern jet air war games. Yeah, this is by David Isby. JD said, "I know David; he's a great guy, but this game was just too plotting. It just snuffed out his will to live, sort of." So anyway, that's it. That's all I've got for. I mean, that's quite a few. It's we're over 2 hours now, so we've had plenty. Well, fair enough. The rules were clear. It's just it's that thing where it takes half an hour to simulate 6 seconds. I think that was basically his problem with it. Thanks for dropping by, Randy. It was great to have you give updates on my updates. That's and drop by anytime. We're big fans here and of Legion, and we're always looking for to kind of push the word out. So yeah, thanks very much for stopping by. Well, there you go. Vlad says it right there. He's used to have a copy of Air War, but would rather play Air Superiority, which isn't that JD's very first game? I think maybe it is. Perhaps JD was leading the charge in terms of bringing Air War games into the new era. Thanks very much. Hey, thanks very much, Jerry. Thanks for stopping by. And yes, I'm sure Skyrider here is talking about the interview with JD Webster, it's another one where it's on my podcast if you want to just listen to it. But I've also just cut the interview out of the podcast and put it on YouTube, so you can see JD's face on the YouTube version. It's there we go. Yeah, it was your junior year, Nick, or your senior year, Nick. It was my freshman year, so we're pretty close. Oh, hey, my good buddy, Calgary buddy, Lightspeed Lagoo, Indy is here. Indy is a lifestyle ASLer who likes to hear about other games, but never actually plays them. I think that would be the best way to describe it. But a good guy that keeps the lights on in the Calgary ASL community invaluably for the last 25 plus years. So I'm glad to see you, Indy. Thanks for coming by. Anyway, it's we're over 2 hours, so I've taken enough of everybody's time tonight. Thanks for coming by. As always, like, thumbs up the video, all that kind of stuff. Tell your friends. Let's try and grow this as much as we can. I have a feeling maybe it's starting at 9 Eastern is a little tough for people out east, but we're going to keep trying it at this time for a while anyway, and because I don't want to step on Jerry's toe by going earlier, and but I don't know, maybe if I need to go earlier I'll find another night or something. But anyway, tell your friends. Let's get everybody watching this thing, and we'll see you, I guess, in another couple of weeks. Stay warm if you're out east. Like I said, out west here we're nice and we're warm and dry, but man, the snow out east is wild.